Steph Curry's one of the best ball players in the world, and when someone like him gets injured, the whole team dynamic gets messed up. It's tough to replace a player like Curry, but there's one player who has shined in his absence and stepped up for his team big time, and that man is Jordan Poole. In this video, we'll talk about Poole's impact on the team while Curry has been away. Let's begin. First up, Poole's playing some of his best basketball as a starter. When Curry got injured, it rang a lot of alarm bells in the Warriors dressing room. Who's gonna step up in the absence of Curry? Do the Warriors even have a player who can minimize the impact of Curry's absence from the team? Well, Jordan Poole had all the answers. Now, we're not saying that he was a like-for-like replacement for Curry, because not a lot of players can do that, but he has been very impressive. The Warriors were on a 5-game winning streak before their last 2 losses, and Jordan Poole played a big part in that streak. The 23-year-old has started several games during Curry's absence and has been nothing short of sensational. He's averaging just over 26.9 points, 4.0 assists, and 2.4 rebounds in all the games that he has started this season, which is a very phenomenal record. Poole also signed a jaw-dropping contract extension before the season, and these are exactly the type of performances the Warriors wanted from him. Up next, Poole had to be responsible for the Warriors' offense. Poole had no choice but to be the leader in scores for the team while Curry was away, because Klay Thompson still isn't at his best and he's looking to find his best shape and form. Plus, Andrew Wiggins missed 15 straight games because of an injury, although he did make a return to the court on the 8th of January against the Magic, but couldn't lead his team to a win in that game. Obviously, he's just back from an injury, and we can't expect some big things from him out of the blue. Poole has been the leader in the absence of some important players, and he has shown everyone that he can continue to do so without any problems. Just hear this out. He has scored 40-plus points in 2 games this year, which is phenomenal, and his average is also very good. We can only expect great things from him in the future as well. Curry's set to miss a few more days because of an injury, and until that, the Warriors will have to rely on Poole, which is something they've been doing for quite some time now, and have no regrets about it. Coming up, people always had high expectations from Jordan Poole. When Curry got injured, and people were talking about who can be the one to step up in his absence, Poole's name was always mentioned in that conversation, because people knew what he was capable of, and what he can bring to this team through his talents. And he's proven us right. Poole has lived up to all of their expectations, or maybe even performed better than what some people expected from him. Yes, there were also some people who didn't even consider him in the absence of Curry. They thought he wouldn't be able to take on such a huge responsibility on his shoulders. But they've been more than proven wrong. He has been key in the absence of Curry, and we only expected those types of performances from him. Now, Draymond Green has also talked about Poole. Poole's recent performances have impressed everybody, including his teammates. Yes, when you're playing for such a big team in such a tough situation, stepping up to the task perfectly can be very hard for everyone. You will come across some bumps along the way, but that doesn't mean that you're a bad player. You're just going through a rough patch. That's exactly what happened with Poole when he wasn't able to perform that well. This is why his teammate Draymond Green also had something to say about him. Green said that Poole isn't having bad turnovers. He also said that the team wants him to keep playing the same way he is and keep on improving. When you're a young player on a team, you need all the confidence and trust you can get from experienced players, and Green said this would have helped him a lot. Next up, the Warriors need to keep on winning games. The Warriors are currently 6th in the Western Conference League, and their recent losing spree hasn't helped them one bit. They need players to step up for them in tough situations. Players like Draymond Green and Donte DiVincenzo will be key for them. Green has been phenomenal this season though. His defensive abilities have helped this team a lot, and he has been one of the best distributors of the team as well. DiVincenzo also fulfills his role quite well when the team needs him the most. He's doing great as a backup guard, whose only job's to defend the best player from the opponent's team if the team wants him to. And so far, we've seen that he's been doing that very well. Plus, his 3-point shooting is very good, and you can expect a few from him in all the games that he plays. Apart from a few straight losses, the Warriors team looked really good, and it seemed like they'd finally found their rhythm. But they can still improve and come back strongly after these losses. And once Steph Curry is back in the team and Wiggins finds his lost form after coming back from an injury, it would be a cherry on the top. We'll see a lot of firepower from this team when everything comes back to normal for them. Now, moving on to the Warriors' winning streak, takes the sting out of Jordan Poole's lapses. First up, Poole's under a microscope after Steph's injury. The Warriors were clearly struggling this season, but they somehow rediscovered the art of winning and won 5 straight games and improved their position in the Western Conference League. Jordan Poole has caught the eyes of many people in those wins, but also in the losses. However, that's unavoidable in a sport like basketball, but it still has to weigh on him to be viewed through such a thin lens. Poole is a very talented and gifted young guard who's lucky to be the replacement of Steph Curry, but also at the same time, unlucky to be Steph's replacement. Why? Because replacing Curry isn't a piece of cake, and when you do it, you're directly under the radar of your team and many experts of the game in the NBA. What this does is tell the world how good of a player you are, but also at the same time, it reveals your weaknesses to the world as well. It reveals what kind of flaws your game has, which is never a good thing for you as a player. What's more, Poole was criticized after his performance against the Atlanta Hawks. Yes, the Warriors won that game, so maybe you think that his poor performance might have been forgotten, but it didn't. As we mentioned earlier, he was under the radar, and that's what happened. The Warriors won that game 143-141 in double overtime. It was a very close game and could have gone either way. Head coach Steve Kerr did have something to say about Poole. He said that he still has another level to reach, and these types of games are the ones that will help him in getting to that next level and develop more and more as a player. He added that these types of games will help him realize what it's like to be Steph on the court. When the opponent's best defender is always putting pressure on you, they apply all the physical pressure on you, and you have to deal with that throughout the game. These games will be a great learning experience for a player like Poole, and he's absolutely right. We all saw that Poole clearly struggled when constant pressure was being applied to him, and he had to up his game in order to survive in these situations. Following up, the turnovers are a problem for Poole. Jordan Poole's really struggling with turnovers. We've seen him average more turnovers than assists, which isn't a good sign. He tends to dribble more, which takes some important seconds off the clock, rather than just pushing through and moving the ball through the offensive lines. This has been a frustrating factor for both the coaches and the teammates. They just want him to flip the switch and move the ball forward so that the team can get some points on the board. He struggled in the 1v2 and 1v3 situations, and the stats of that game speak for themselves. The Hawks blocked 10 shots and 5 of them were Poole's. This is when a player tends to lose more possession, which is something you don't want to do in a close game like basketball. On the other hand, Klay Thompson was constantly shooting the ball with results, and he really did put on a show for the crowd. Poole has a lot to learn, and Thompson's a player from whom he can learn this skill. That was a night when Klay Thompson put 54 points on board, which is sensational. JP scored 28 points, which shows that both of his teammates were always in the zone to score points. Yes, there were a few occasions when the Hawks defense was caught napping when Thompson was on the ball, but he still had to do a lot. It's certain that Poole has a long way to go. Finally, Poole's a fantastic passer and has the ability to break down defenses. With all being said, there's no doubt that Poole's a fantastic passer of the ball. He has 7 games this season in which he gave at least 7 assists, and his ability to break down defenses is so amazing. He runs on defenses like a monster, and there aren't many players on the Warriors roster that can do that apart from the man himself, Steph Curry. He just needs to get himself together when the games get more physical and the opponents are putting pressure on the players. Otherwise, Poole's a great player, and he'll only improve from this point on. There's no doubt about that. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Jordan Poole has proven to be a good replacement for Curry? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.